Do you feel like you are constantly having to prove your worth and like everything you do isn't worth anything unless somebody tells you it's brilliant? That's something that I struggled with for a very long time. I kept wondering if what I was doing really mattered or if there was any point to it. And I needed people to tell me. I needed proof that I was doing it right. I needed my mum, my clients, my audience, whoever I was dealing with to say, that's brilliant, you're doing a great job. But lately things started to shift for me. And I finally feel like I'm making a difference, and it's coming from a different place. And that's what I want to share with you today about how you can find that self-worth without having to prove it to anybody, just finding it deep within. So struggling with not feeling good enough is something I've struggled with my whole life, and I wouldn't say I've completely fixed that problem. I'm still working on it. But I'm definitely in a lot better place now than I was, say, 2 years ago, or five years ago. You know, if you go back, I can see how the progress that I've made, and knowing that I don't have to prove that I'm good enough to anybody. Because when you say good enough, and this is one of the things that I've been getting in my head recently, is good enough for who? Good enough for who? And I remember hearing that a few years ago, and it's taken a little while to just really sort of sink in and get there. And that meant that in the past, what I used to do was I would show up by overworking, second guessing, people pleasing, switching things around, and just trying to make sure everybody felt great because I wanted them to say I was brilliant. And interestingly enough, I've been watching a video recently about this people pleasing thing and how it's a form of manipulation because you want that validation. And so you're doing things to get that validation. And it's not from a genuine place of care. And this can come from unresolved trauma and also from your nervous system being dysregulated, because we're constantly, and this, I was definitely on this, I was looking for somebody else or something else to help me to be safe. And so if I kept pushing for things and pleasing people and going for that validation, if every time I got that validation, it was like a little trigger to feel safe, or my nervous system could feel safe for a little while. But the truth is that doesn't actually really work long term. So long term, it doesn't like all of a sudden, oh yeah, I suddenly feel safe and I don't need to ask for anyone's validation anymore, because you continually need to keep taking more and more validation in order to feel safe. And so gradually I've been shifting away from that, and I've been following this path where I've been doing what I feel is the right thing to do, of following my path and letting people come along if they want to come along. And if they don't want to come for the ride, then letting them go. So not feeling like I have to have likes or comments or anything on any post that I put out, or any proof and to sort of like build me up. But at the same time, I'm also like, every time I get an unsubscribe from my email, or I get a negative comment or something negative comes up, I'm also not taking that personally, because that's what someone else is putting out there. It's not necessarily what I'm doing. And maybe I'm just not resonating with that person. And that's okay. It's okay to not resonate with everybody. And I'm accepting that. I'm accepting that some people are going to love me, some people are not. And that's fine. But I did have a moment yesterday where I was getting a couple of nice comments and really supportive stuff from people in my group online. And I felt a little bit emotional, not in a negative way, but in a real, like, it was a genuine validation way. And that actually it was like, what I'm doing actually does matter. And I'm not just doing this for nothing. It does actually matter. And that meant more to me than the kind of superficial validation. It was a genuine, I'm giving, and I was giving from a place of, you take me or leave me. And it was coming from a not needing validation. So when I got those kind words and that support, it felt deeper, it sat deeper, because it felt real, because I was giving from the right place. I wasn't giving to receive that comment. So when I received that comment, I was able to receive it with that deep joy and understanding. And that felt very different. So I'm now kind of redefining, and one of the things I've been doing, and some of the work that I'm still ongoing, is redefining that worth from the inside, so that my worth feels calm, steady, and sustainable. And it's the idea that I just am doing what I'm doing. And it's not, nothing I'm doing actually has to prove. So it's almost like I'm not worrying about whether I have any self-worth or not, or whether what I'm doing is worth anything. It's who I am. And that's what matters. It's just who I am. And that doesn't actually have an inherent value or not. It is just a human experience. And so when I start to take that value judgment away from it, so I'm actually no longer value judging myself. So I'm not giving myself a worth. I'm not worthy or unworthy. I'm just me. It takes away the need for validation, because how do I need to validate just being me? Because I'm just me. And it allows me to have then self-trust and nervous system safety. And that inherently gives me a worth, but a worth is in I'm no more worthy or less worthy than any other being. I'm just a being. And I'm taking away that need to have a worth. I don't need to have a worth. And I think that's been quite an emotional breakthrough for me. And I'm quite pleased that I'm having it. It's something that I can feel is really shifting for me. So we think about how it would have been for us. It would have been like push, prove, perform, would have been the energy I was in. And then actually what's happening is I'm pushing out a needy energy. And actually that's repelling people. So I'm then not getting the validation that I really need, because I'm needing it. And I'm trying to grasp it. And that trying to grasp that, show me I'm worthy, show me I'm worth something, show me I mean something to you, actually repels people. When I just say, do you know, I am who I am. This is what I'm sharing. This is what I've done. I'm not going to second guess it. And I do think that in the past, I've taken on things like when I've been doing things, say online or sharing or being who I am, and then I've had sort of mentors or guides say to me, that's not the way you're supposed to do it. You shouldn't really be saying that. That's not really the appropriate thing to say. And then I'm thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't be saying this. And then I start second guessing myself. Now I'm saying, sure, I don't really care if somebody tells me whether it's the right way to do it, because that's their right way to do it. And I am who I am. And I'm here to serve the people that I'm here to serve. And if other people find that they don't like the way I talk, or they don't like the way I put things across, it's not really my issue. And it doesn't determine anything about me. And now I can take that on. So that means if the negative stuff doesn't determine anything about me, neither does the positive stuff. Because that's like the whole kind of Buddhist principle of this too shall pass. When they say that, people often apply it to negative experiences in their life. But you also apply it to positive experiences in your life, because joy and happiness doesn't last forever. And neither does sadness and misery. And it's the same with negative comments and positive comments. They don't mean anything to me as a human being. They are just someone else, a reflection of somebody else's thoughts, feelings, and impressions. And when I can shift that mindset, so I can say, okay, that there's no value on the negative side, negative comments, and there's no value on the positive, then it doesn't really matter what anybody says about what I do, because it all comes from within. And it's been an interesting shift to kind of go through that and see how it plays out in my life. And it means that I can now contribute deeply and give deeply of myself, but without burning out, because I'm not having to keep pushing and keep proving. And I don't have the mental energy, because that mental energy of will people like it actually is more exhausting than doing the work. And then when I want to take action and I want to think about what I want to do, and I want to do something consciously, I can then introduce, and this is something you can try when you want to take action, introducing a ritual before you do anything to calm the nervous system, to come back into you, so you can act as you, and you can trust who you are. You can trust your being. And knowing that you can, say, just sit quietly, you can place a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly. And you can just inhale really deeply and feel those hands expand. And then exhale slowly and release. And just say to yourself, I am allowed to move at the pace of trust. Just trust yourself. Trust where you are right now. And trust that you are you, and you're not having to prove anything else to anybody else. And in some ways that gives you greater leadership, greater confidence, because you're leading from a place of peace. You're leading from a place of calm, of understanding, and of trust. And that makes you more magnetic. It makes you more confident, and it makes you more appealing to other people. So you can draw the people in that need to come and see your message. They need to know your message because you are genuinely being you. And that's how I feel about myself. I'm genuinely being me. People like me, they like me, they don't. It's not a reflection of me. So for the first time, I feel calm and excited at the same time, which has been a kind of new experience for me. I'm not chasing worth anymore, I'm living it. And that's what's making all the difference. So if you've enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe, and drop a comment about how you feel about worth. I'd love to know your thoughts and your feelings. And if you'd like to connect more deeply, come and join me in my free group, The Sacred Pause. I will drop the link in the description so you can come and join us. And I'd love to see you on the inside.